Hey everyone, welcome to Revive Live here on Friday afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Um, it's a little bit rainy outside today, so hopefully you're staying inside and dry, still warm. No, thank God for that. Uh, Hello, if you are on, make sure you let us know that you're just that you're on this, who's watching. We like to just uh, recognize and say hi to everyone. So let us know that you're watching. Wait just a couple more minutes. Make sure you share and like it for a few more people to hop on. Hope you're having a good afternoon. Hey, Don and Peggy, thank you. I hope you guys are doing good today. Uh, I got a 3-hour drive ahead of me. We're going to be taking my daughter to Cincinnati for a basketball tournament. I'll be back though later on Saturday. But I have to jump on and do Revive Live with you guys today. I'm talk about just for a little bit. All got to eh, Jess and I we've talked about it recently a lot together. The fact that we're in a time in our own lives. Just to get older. Turns 13 here in a couple weeks, and things are taking days. As far as that goes, so it's just it's new season which we're in. We're excited for, but as you enter new season, things change your life. And this thing you know that you're going to have seasons that come, seasons that go, and you gotta learn how to maneuver through seasons. All got and new seasons, new things in life, and you carry old thing in seasons. There'll be some things transition to new seasons. There'll be other things that necessarily won't, and so you gotta be able to define. You gotta be able to find exactly what that season is going to end up. Hey, babe, my wife is on, so I was just telling Jess if you think shit, we're in new season. Talking about that a lot, and just what that looks like, and we're because it is a new season, but in that new season, we'll to do more, and that's part of this Revive Live came in and the Lord put on my heart, and we've been doing that consistently now for a while, and on Tuesdays and Friday. And the message the Lord's put on our hearts with travel and ministering and doing more at the church, and bringing some things up in that area we're going to be seeing more of, and starting ordering vessels. There's just different things that are going on, and so can you guys hear me? We'll say that the sound kind of in and out, so I just want to make sure it's strong on my end. So I just wanted to make sure how it was for you guys. So if you can't hear me, let me know, or if it's choppy, let me know. But in talk us, I'm cutting out. All right, I don't know if it's just this mic. Let's see. Can you hear me better now? Hopefully that is much better for you. Just made sure it was plugged in good. So as I was saying, we're just in a new season, and as you enter a new season of your life, you got to be able to understand God's taking you, and the season that God has you in, and what He has for you. Yes, better, awesome. Hey, Melissa. And so you guys have heard me probably hear this if you've been, hey Katie, been around much longer. So in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, starting in verse 1, it says, "For everything there is a season and a time for every matter or purpose." There's a purpose in every season, a purpose in every season to go into. And that's what it says in the New King James. So every season you step into is a purpose, a new purpose you're stepping into. And I'm a firm believer, and I've seen in my life that when you step into new seasons, there's new faces that you're going to come in contact with. In other words, new people are going to come in your life. There's faces, new places, new grace that you're going to step into and go. And God has you. So in this season now for my wife and I, it's 15 years of marriage coming July, and we're just enjoying this season and time where of spending time together more. I was making a joke with her because we were out just Wednesday together. She decided that this year that she would start joining me as I went golfing, and she would ride in the car and do her own things and participate in her own way of just whether it be riding along, keeping company, pulling the pins for me, and different things with that, but just so we can be together. Hey, Sarah, and so in this new season of just being together, I made a joke and I said, I think you like hanging out with me more now, and you like me a lot better than when we first got married after 15 years of being together. But it's just our relationship has changed. It's grown. We've obviously grown closer, but we're also in just a new season where things are happening, and Monday is our time, but it's like Tuesday through really Saturday we're running hard. Really through Sunday we're running hard, not just with the kids and what they're doing and taking them to different things, but things for the ministry and ministering to people and doing different things. As I said, we'll be starting a new podcast as part of our new season. Once the women's conference here in just a couple weeks it comes to an end, and that portion of the women's conference is over, we're going to be starting really a family oriented, a marriage and raising kids podcast on faithful foundations. And we're going to be discussing just about marriage and relationships and laying faithful foundations for kids, but for our children, for our home. But it's a new season we're going into, and the Lord is calling Jess into more. So she'll be ministering for the first time, really ministering at the women's conference this year. And she was on a panel earlier this year in another women's conference. And so the Lord's calling her into season, into a new area for her to step into. And I sense it in my own life that God is just taking us into new places, and that's going to be the same for your life. But you got to understand that you have to follow God into that new season, because when new seasons come, there are going to be new challenges and new things and new purposes. You guys seek what that purpose is to fulfill that purpose in that day or in that season, and every day leads up to the fulfillment of that season and the purpose of the day. And there's goals that you set. What kind of goals did you set today? What kind of goals are you wanting to accomplish today to make yourself better, to make your those around you better? And once you accomplish those goals, what does your next goals for tomorrow look like? And the thing with goal setting, I think people miss the idea of is when you set goals and long-term goals. So if it's a goal for really in this season or in this year, if you have a goal, well, every day you should set goals that look for or connect to your ultimate goal for that year, that feed into that goal so you can accomplish your ultimate goal, your ultimate purpose, what you're striving for in that year. So if you say this year, I want to pay debt off or whatever, well, every day should be set with goals that will help you accomplish that goal, your yearly goal, what you set on your vision board for that year, and to be able to accomplish that. If it's to read the Bible, just drop something. If you want to read the Bible through, and then you got to set goals of how am I going to accomplish that in today? How's today and what I accomplish today going to help me reach my ultimate goal? And a lot of people that set goals and be like, oh, you know what, this would just be good today, and their goal doesn't feed into their ultimate goal or lead into the ultimate plan of what you want to accomplish, and therefore really you are just living day by day on the whim of your pants, on the whim of what you just feel like that day, and ultimately you're not going to. Hey, Tabitha, you're not going to accomplish your ultimate goal, your ultimate purpose for that year, for that season that you're in. And so you got to understand that things that you're doing on a daily basis should feed into the ultimate purpose, not only for that year, but for your life. So, today, like for me, from ministry, it's what can I accomplish today in prayer, or what can I accomplish in revelation, what can I accomplish to receive from the Lord today that feeds into the ultimate goal in the ministry, and to be able to minister to you guys and to minister to the church and to the people of the church. And so you have to understand that. So again, in everything there is a season and a time for every matter, every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to heal, a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together away. There's some things you got to cast off you, and there's other times that you're going to be adding into your life, and that's going to look different in different seasons of your life. And so you have to understand that also. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. Oh man, it's one that we all need. A time to a time to remain silent, and there's time to speak. And the thing is, what I'll get to in a minute is that you got to be able to follow the leading of the Spirit, leading of the Lord, not only in the seasons, but in the seasons. Is it a time to speak, or is it time to be silent? Oh man, we'll leave that alone. A time to love, time to hate, a time to war, and a time for peace. And so you have to understand, as you walk into new territories and navigate new seasons in your life, new things in your life, that are going to be times for things, and seasons brings new things. Also, there's dying off of old things. Yeah, there's some seasons you're going to step out of that you will carry some things into, and there be seasons that you step into and things that you'll carry into that. Also, things that you cannot carry into, because it will hinder your new season. It will hinder where you're going. It will hinder what you're doing. And so therefore, you got to understand that it may be hard, but you gotta cut some things off into the new season. And so one of the main things you gotta understand is that each season you step into, and when you step into that place, that God ushers you into that because you're ready for that. He doesn't put you into a sin that you're ready for. Doesn't take you into a new thing that you're not ready for, that you haven't been prepared for, refined for. And so that means that season is ordained by God. That season is set up by God. And so you're stepping into seasons that he's placed in front of you for a purpose, and you have been called into that, and that season's been ordained for you and for a purpose in that time. And so you have to understand that whether it's a season of going or a season of rest, whether it's a season of waiting or in hearing, or a season of talking and being more on action. You got to understand that you got to follow the leading of God, because if you don't follow his leading in that season, it will hinder you from stepping into the next season, that season that's been ordained for you, and it will put it on hold. And so another thing you have to understand in that season, you're not walking into that season just all by yourself. No, God goes with you. He actually goes before you. He's already went into that season, ordained that season for you, and set that season up and set the path and the way for you. There's not going to be hindrances. There's not going to be things that you face, but you know that one has gone before you. The Lord has gone before you and made a way for you. Deuteronomy 31:8 tells us the Lord himself goes for you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. And so that's awesome because you understand that in this new season, I have one that's with me. I have a helper. I have a comforter. An inner that's with me, and the Holy Spirit and the Lord has gone before me to set it up and set something to a new season, a new ocean for you. You're not alone in that new season. He's prepared it for you. He's prepared the way for you. He's prepared the path for you. He's prepared for what you're about to accomplish. He's prepared it up for you. All you have to do is step into it by faith and to walk in that path and walk in that new season that He's ordained and He's gone in and prepared for you. Literally, that the blessings and the victories and overcoming and the things in that season are simply waiting on your arrival, waiting on to activate your faith to step into it and there and to receive and to step in and take those blessings and hold the blessings. And so, sometimes we get stuck in a season. When we get stuck in a season, we become dry or we become complacent because it just looks like we're going through a routine. Well, that means that God's trying to work on you to get you ready for a new season, and in that time, you're not ready for that new season. So don't lose sight of where we're going. Don't lose sight of hope. Don't lose sight of what God's doing. It's something that we need to shift on our end so we can step into where God is taking us. So we feel that complacency. So we don't feel that mundane, just every single thing. And it seems like it's the same thing over and over, but we're stepping into new things into where He's called us. And you have to, as you step into new seasons, you have to trust God above our own understanding. Obviously, if we go and walk by our own understanding, man, we're going to crash and fail in the new season. But we got to trust God. Trust. Proverbs 3:5-6 tells us, chapter 2, verses 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean on your what? Own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. Acknowledge Him, trust Him, and He will what? He will direct your path. Transition into new seasons can be difficult. Transitions into new things can be difficult, but when you trust the Lord, He is there to take you, and He's there to lift you. And be uncertain when you're stepping into territory that unknown, and you got to learn how to walk by faith and trust God. Because why? He's called us there, and God would not call us in to something that is not good for us, something that's not going to bless, something that's not going to take us higher, something that's not going to take us deeper. And He's not going to call us into a season. And now there will be in that season. I want you to understand that He called a time that you may be in a valley. Don't shun and just think, why am I going through? You know what? Take opportunity to learn the lesson in that moment of going through the valley, of going through the hard time, of going through the storms and the wind taking place, because God's trying, and He doesn't cause them, but He'll use them to refine you. He'll use to turn it for your good, to bless you with. And the enemy tries to stop you. He does not want you to walk through this season to get to your next season. He want you to keep growing, to keep becoming better, to keep growing and doing what you've been called to do, and for the purpose that He's called you to do it. So you got to understand that in the middle of this season, you know what? There's storms that are coming against me, but I can look unto God, who is the lifter of my head, who is faithful in season and out of season. When I'm going through things, we're not going things, He is faithful. He is consistent. He is consistently consistent. He is good in all His ways, and I can look unto Him and I can see that He is the one that lifted me up, and He protects me. He's my power. He's my refuge in which I run into. He is my shelter, and I know that I can be safe. Why? Because I'm before me, and I'm leaning on Him. I'm trusting Him. He ordained this season. I may be in the valley, but He's ordained this season. I know that I'm coming through it. Why? Because God has gone before me and He is with me. I trust Him. I trust Him beyond my own understanding. Amen. And so, just because you step into something new, that means there's new faces, right? New faces, new places. And so you're not alone. Not only is God with you, but there'll be other people that'll be put in your life that will strengthen you, help you refine and ready for that yet another season that is on the horizon that you're striving for to walk into next. And you may be later in your life and thinking, well, I don't have a whole lot of seasons that are ahead of me. Well, make this season the most successful season that you're in, and when you into another one, be determined to make that the most successful season that you're. And even at our age and in my age of 40, or if you're younger than me, I'm 43. If you're younger than me, there are reasons. Make this the best season that you've ever lived and ever gone through. So that way, when you go into the next season, you're riding onto a new level, into a new place, and you're riding on in new strength, and you're going into that new season better than what you were in the last season, what you came out of that entered the last season with. You're even better than the way that you entered that. You've come out of that season because it's ended better than the way that you started it, and you are determined that this is the best season of my life. This is the best season of my life. Why? Because it's a season I'm living now. It can be the best season of my life. The last season of my life is the best season of my life, and this one, and only a time that's the best season. Why? Because I'm living in a new season, and this is going to be the best season that I'm living, and not be short term, because the next season they enter in, that will be the best season that I'm living in, and that's the season that I've and that's accomplished that I've ever seen, and the most success that I've ever had, and the greatest blessings I've ever walked into. Your next season, your best season. It's just waiting on your arrival and for you to walk into by faith. And so know that just because it's new, you're not alone. You have someone with you. Not only the Lord, He's not just he's there with you, but He's there to bring people in you. Or bring people not in you, bring people with you to help strengthen you and help you into the next place to be better, to be a better you, to be a better person, to strive new ways to have greater success. And you need new people in life. You need people that are going to strengthen you, that are going to challenge you. Because people come in your life and they bring a challenge to your life, don't try to shut them out. No boundaries on that. God has probably brought them into your life to help propel you into that next season, to help push you into a greater place, because you will not get there without in your life to push you and to strengthen you and to challenge you and to speak life into you. So you got to understand, Isaiah 43:2 says, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. In other words, God is with you, but there will be others with you that are to strengthen you, that are to lift you up. In every season, you will have those that are there with you, to fight with you, to stand with you. You are not alone. Don't believe the lie of the enemy. You're not alone. Don't let the enemy isolate you. You are not to be isolated. Isolating yourself is not what God has called you to do. He's called us to have community. He's called us to be in community. There are seasons that we go through in isolation. In other words, God is preparing, molding, and shaping us maybe away from some things, but it doesn't call you to be a hermit. It doesn't call you to be a monk locked down in the middle of the dungeon until you get an answer from the Lord. No, He's just called you maybe for a season to separate a little bit, but then He calls you back in more into the community and which you're going, because He's spoken to you, and there's some things that He has to uproot. And so you have to understand that the isolation is not meant for us. No, we are meant for community. We're meant for relationship. God created us for relationship. That is part of what we are part of nature and what we need in our lives. So number 5, growth comes through change. Growth comes through change. If you got to understand that you got to be able to change, and when change comes, there's growth. And I think about the fact of Joshua in chapter 1. If you look at that, really that's the end of Moses' life had just taken place, and Joshua is about to step into that role. He's about to put some big sandals at that moment to lead the people. And the thing is, Moses, they had the promise of going to the promised land, and that generation had passed because they didn't have the faith. They didn't walk uprightly before the Lord. And so God didn't let that generation enter. And there were 2, Joshua and Caleb, from that generation that were able to enter because of their faith. And so Joshua stepped in leadership role, and it's a new season and a new place for him. He was walking into a new season, and not only were they walking into a new season, but entering into a new promise, and they're about to enter into new land that given to them to take. And in chapter 1 of Joshua, the Lord begins to encourage Joshua, begins to strengthen Joshua, telling him that you're well able. I've given you the strength to do this. I've called you to do this. You're well able. Just keep meditate on my word. Keep this word upon your lip. Meditate on day and night. Do not depart from your lips. And if you do this, you will make your way successful, and you will have success, and you will have provision, and you will have things that are good and blessings in your life. Why? Who does it? You will, if you do what I've commanded you to do. And he's encouraging Joshua to walk into the to be who he created Joshua to be in that season. And so growth comes through. Joshua would never grown if he didn't step into that change. And so you have to understand that there's a time for pruning. A pruning season, and as it tells us in John chapter 15, that there's a time for pruning, and you got things pruned out of your life, and that even means people at times. People got to be pruned out of your life at times, and so you got to understand that season take place. But when you come into the new season, you got to be led by God. And in Galatians chapter 5, as we looked about on Tuesday, and I believe in verse 26, it tells us that when we got to be in tune instead of the Holy Spirit. So when you walk into this new season, you got to follow God into the new season. And you got to be in tune with the Holy Spirit. You got to allow him to lead you, him to guide you. You have your spiritual ears open on him so that he can lead and guide you into that new season, into the season calling you to go into. So understand that you may be in the middle of a good season, a great season, and you don't want the season to end, but I'm telling you, there's a beginning to every season and an end in every season. There's a good beginning and a good end, or a bad beginning and it can be a bad end. It's up to you how you want to live this season, but I encourage you to make this the best season that you've ever lived. Make this the best season you've ever lived. Amen. Well, I hope you enjoyed. I hope this encouraged you. I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday for Revive Live. Hopefully, I'll see you sooner. If you go to Legacy Church, I'll see you on Sunday. If you are around this community in this area, we welcome you to Legacy Church at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. We hope to see you there. If not, I'll see you right back here on Tuesday at noon. Make sure you share and like this, and share this with your friends to tell them to jump on for a little encouragement through the week at noon. I love you. Be blessed.